Hi everyone, welcome to ConnectBud. Today we have Dhruv Patel, and he's a student from Middlesex Community College in New Jersey, Edison, and he will be sharing his journey with the aspirant today. Welcome to ConnectBud, Dhruv. How are you doing?
Thank you. I'm doing very well. How are you?
I'm doing good too, and thank you so much for your time. So, without wasting much of time, let's talk about your educational background. Tell us from where you did your schoolings and what is the subject of specialization in your bachelor. Dhruv, can you hear me? Dhruv, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Global crew.
Okay.
Uh,
Uh,
yep. So, about my background, right?
yeah, your
Yeah.
educational background. Yeah.
Yep. So, about my education background, I actually came from India to like 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I came from India and I graduated. I did my 10th grade over there. I passed my 10th board exams, and then I came over here. And when I came over here, it was really different. I had to. They were telling me I had to do my high school again, starting from ninth grade. So which really, so I took some exams and placed me up
Mm-hmm.
for 10th grade, and then so I did 10th on one school, and then I moved to another different location. So my school changed, so I had to do 11th grade and 12th grade in another area,
Okay.
another school. So I was able to do that, and they told me they were going to put me in another ESL class, which is English as a second language. For
Mm-hmm.
students that come in from other parts of the country, they kind of have to take those classes, and I was doing, I was speaking up well to, and I was passing all the exams that they wanted me to pass with
Mm-hmm.
wonderful score. Even though that they still wanted to put me in those classes, so I kind of had to fight with them a little bit and let them know, hey, I'm all the scores just
Mm-hmm.
tells you what I'm capable of. So after that, I was like, next year, no, I'm not taking the classes in 1 year again. So I did that, and then I went to Middlesex Community College.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot, and I'll talk about a lot of different factors that involves in you choosing of what colleges you want to go to. So for me, was the Middlesex Community College, and I went there. I went for 2 years. I've still been there. I had to take last ESL classes over there too, English as a
Mm-hmm.
second language. So those classes didn't really count for my major. So
Okay.
1 year, so 6 months, just it was just to me take some classes. But actually, I had enjoyed a lot, made a lot of friends. I was, if they're not going to count for my major, I'm going to well establish myself in those 6 months. That's going to have
Mm-hmm.
me, skyrocket me for the next couple of years, or even
Okay.
just in life. So that's what I did, and after that, I major. But then I was like, no, I'm not capable of doing computer science. That's way too things for people that are way too smart. I'm not too smart, so
Mm-hmm.
I've been into business administration. I checked out some liberal arts business majors. That was something that was really exciting for me. So those liberal arts business and business administration, those are the majors that I was doing. And
Mm-hmm.
I thought after that I'll be able to transfer to Rutgers or any other colleges so that I can finish up my college.
Okay. All right. Tell us about if you have a list of universities that you applied, and why did you choose this university over others?
Yeah, so when you're applying for universities, like you have to in high school there, you have to worry about SAT scores, you have to worry about ACT scores.
Mm-hmm.
For me, since I was brand new, like it was just 2 years. After that, it was just me coming in America and to get like
Uh,
this because
uh,
SAT, ACT, I had to study for all that, and I was like, I don't have no idea about what's going on.
mm-hmm.
Uh, you have to worry about that. Then you have to worry about, since I'm also the first generation, I have to worry about the finances. Am I gonna get some scholarship? Am I gonna get, who's gonna sponsor me up with some of those scholarships? Am I gonna get a job? How's transportation's gonna work? How am I
Mm-hmm.
gonna, how the transportation? How then housing. Am I going to live at home, or am I going to live on campus? How am I going if I'm going to live at campus? How am I going to pay for that? So all those factors were into consideration. And since I was the first generation, if I was gonna go to college like that, it was my parents were just gonna have to take out a loan for me to for them to send me to college. And for me, I didn't really want them to take out a loan, and for me, it was a very young age, because usually a lot of graduates come out of colleges and they end up in debt, which I really didn't want it to do. So that was really, and also like the first generation, it was just gonna put me like the next generation is gonna come through me. So I was gonna have them, the next generation that's coming in. I also have to think about that. Those people that are coming in, I don't put them a little bit backwards into the race of life that they call it. So considering that, I said, I'll take care of the finances. I'll get some FAFSA, and I'll apply for some scholarships. I'll get a job, and that's how I'll pay for my college. So that's what I ended up doing. And so that's one of the reasons why I ended up Middlesex, and then I said, I'll go to Rutgers. But all colleges that I applied to was like Rutgers colleges. Like for those factors, I didn't really apply to a lot of different colleges, because even if I get into like a really good school, and even if my SAT scores were really good, which they really were not, because that was the first generation. It was like so that was one factor. So what I would recommend to the new people that are coming in is to even if you graduate out of college. I know my uncles and aunts, they actually graduated out of college, but they kind of say, hey, you know what, we all graduated out of great schools like NJIT, and some went to Seton Hall, all those, but they're all working as a job, and they're all they're all happy and having a job. And so that's one thing that you have to consider is, even if you get a lot of knowledge, is what are you going to do with all that knowledge? Are you going to use that knowledge for a better for the human race, or are you just going to get all the knowledge, and then you're just going to sit somewhere and just have a normal life? If what I would really recommend people is to know why they're actually doing it, because if they're doing it for a really good purpose, that they want advancement into the societies, then I would recommend, hey, that's a great purpose that you want to go do something. So have that first, keep that in mind, and then decide which colleges you have to apply to.
Okay. So your criteria for choosing any particular college is very different from what others might have. But because your goals is to be financially free and happy.
Yes.
So by the time that gets fulfilled, you are fine with it. So that's a very unique approach. And now let's talk about your. Did you write SAT or ACT, and what was your score, and for how long did you prepare for these exams?
So for me, my I took SAT scores like 2 times. It wasn't really great. I got 800, 900, which was just half out of 1600. I didn't take the one that had with the essays, because as I came in, like the first year, I was still adjusting to. They were still placing me into ESL classes, so English as a second language. So it was my second language. So they didn't tell me, hey, you have to do this, you have to study for all this. I was told nothing. Then I went into junior year. In junior year, I switched schools again. So when I switched schools, it was again like I had to readjust. And at that time, they were talking about SATs, and I was, I had to catch up with those kids, because I had to take double classes to like math. I was taking two math classes. I was taking 2 science classes to just catch up with those kids. So while doing that, I also had to do the SAT scores, and I also was working as a part-time job because I was first generation. So SAT scores, I really didn't study for it. It was but people that were getting good scores, they were actually studying. They were taking SAT classes actually. One of my cousin, actually, he just graduated. He had a really good score in SATs. Yeah, somewhere around like 1400 scores out of 1600. So what he really did was his dad's an anesthesiologist, so good amount of money coming in. So what he ended up doing for his son was he ended up taking him to SAT classes, which actually
Okay.
just specializes in an SAT class. So that's one thing that people can do is figure out if they want to take some SAT classes, like know like where those classes are provided. I know Princeton has it. In summer, some schools have those classes too. So you
Okay.
can find that out, and those classes are gonna let you know, hey, what type of questions are gonna come in, and they're gonna just prepare you about what's coming in instead of just you going into the class into taking your exam and not knowing what's coming in, because that's what it was for me. Like I just went in there, I didn't know what was coming in. So there was no format like, okay, this couple questions are going to be on this topic, couple questions are going to be on this topic, couple questions are going to be on this topic. I didn't have no background into it, but when I looked into it greatly, it's like, okay, so this part has most of the questions in. That means spend more time studying it if you're not comfortable with that area. If you're comfortable with that area that has the most amount of questions, then study the ones that have that you're not comfortable with. Let's say if grammar, you're having a hard time with the grammar or vocabularies, then you would spend more time with the vocabularies. But you can also find books into libraries. You can go to libraries. That's what I sometimes do. Like I'm getting my investment license. What I really do is I would recommend families, instead of studying at home, I would recommend them to find a library or find a space. Even if you're sitting at home, find a space where you're completely locked in. Like there are no electronics around. There's no voice coming in. Bang, bang. It's not happening. Like, find a place that is that's just you and the books,
Okay.
nothing else. So that would, I think, yeah. So that I think would help them a lot. Yeah.
Okay. And tell us about if there is a minimum cutoff, SAT or ACT cutoff that your university was entertaining for admission.
Yeah. So for me, since it was a community college, like they didn't really have to worry about it.
Okay.
I just went in there and they just like, okay, this is what you have to do. And well,
Okay.
I applied to Rutgers, and Rutgers I got denied to it because my SAT scores were low. So with schools, they also play like a little bit of they have to economic factor. There's an economic factor too. They can't just have everyone that has a good score just coming in, because they need diversity too. So if you're a certain race, then there are a lot of those kind of people coming in, because I know with our culture, like a lot of people, everyone's smart, like and that's stressed into our family, that you have to get a good grades into this. So so kids they're really stressed, and because they have to get good grades, and if they don't get good grades, they're not cherished by their parents. So when they go to college, what happens is, okay, a lot of Indian cultural people are coming into our colleges. What we also have to do is we also have to balance it out now with let's say some African American kids, some Latino kids, some Caucasian kids, so those kind of people, they all have to come in, because they all want an equal opportunity.
Okay.
So that's also one factor where you have to consider. So let's say if someone, if I would apply to somewhere around Midwest, where there's really where the country is really not established, like it's still developing. It's South part. If I go apply over there, then they'll take me because I'm diverse over there. They'll take me right away. While over here at Rutgers, there are a lot of Indian families out there. And it's not like it's there's no bias about it. It's just that people when they travel, they want to travel with the people that they think they're familiar to. So when you're like let's say someone in New York who went to California, like New York, from Queens and Manhattan, they're from New York. When they see each other, they'll still fight. Like, hey, Manhattan's better or Queens better. But when they both go to California and they go, hey, I'm from Queens and I'm from New York too. They're like right there. They become friends because it's like familiar face. So just like that, Indian people, they see another Indian people. It's a familiar face. They want to stay close to them. So that's what happens. So that's also one contributing factor I would consider people having when they apply to colleges. Is keep that in mind that different colleges that you apply to. Of course, now you have to. One thing that I think you should really factor in is why you are doing it. Is if you just want to gain a degree, just do whatever you want to do with it, then, or if you want to do something, get a degree because you have a lot of pressure around you who wants and they all want you to get a degree from a certain school. That's a lot of outside pressure that you're dealing with, but you have to know why you're doing it for yourself. Because I remember one of the things that I did was I only like to take classes that I really like. They don't really count for my major, like classes like ethics class, then the classes like communications class. Those classes don't really count for my major, but I really like to take those classes because that's how I can interact with more people and I can get in touch with more people. I can be when I go out in the party. When I go out into the party, I'm charismatic. How to deal with people. That's also one thing that helps with sales. So that's what I do. But but what I did was my parents they were like, you know what, you need to get this degree really fast. So I took some classes that I didn't really like. So what I was didn't really like, and I didn't really do good with those classes too. So
that's how a student should keep things in mind while deciding if they have options or admits from multiple universities. This was like really good. Shouldn't go with all the pressure which comes from family or society all the time, but they also should keep things as per their preferences.
For themselves, like
that's really helpful. Now let's talk about in terms of admission, in particular to your university, do you think your SAT or ACT score plays more important role compared to your GPA?
No, I don't think so. SAT scores and ACT scores, they are just, you're going to take that exam once, and they don't, and then after that, so what's going to happen for the kids that got really, let's say there are two people, one got a really good high score and SAT, one got a really bad score. You're going to apply for colleges, you're going to feel great when you're in high school. You're going to talk about it. Hey, I got this score, and hey, I'm taking an exam again because I want to do some better. That's going to happen. Once you go to college, it's going to be a whole new environment. You're going to meet people that are different. You're going to meet, and none of them are going to talk about, hey, what SAT scores did you get? How much was your GPA?
Okay, yeah.
They're not going to care about anything at all. And colleges, colleges have a lot of different factors of how they enroll students. So, which for every different college, it's going to be different, but they're really not going to take care of just one score that you just got. And a lot of people take SAT, ACTs a lot of different times, and they just factor in what's the highest that they got. So even if they're taking a lot of colleges, then if we do the math, then it's the average of all those tests that you took. That's what if you're really worried about SAT scores, that's what the college is going to take. But they don't really do that. They just take, okay, you got the best score, we're going to put that into your transcript, and that's it.
Yeah. Okay.
So don't stress on it. Like, I know college students are coming out of it. I just want to tell them, like, hey, don't stress on it. Don't stress on it, because my a lot of my siblings, they graduated right recently, and they now have jobs and everything. What they told me is, nobody really cares about it anymore. It was just a phase that we just passed, and now it doesn't really care. So, take that.
All right. Now let's talk about student loan. Did you take a student loan from any bank? And if yes, then how was the process?
No. So what I actually did was, when I was in high school, I really wanted to be successful. You know, I just, you know, I was the first generation, and I knew I had to do something great, because the next generation that's coming in, they're not going to have to do the same thing what I'm going to have to do. So one of the things that I really got into first is I got into investing. So I started reading books like Rich Dad Poor Dad, then Compounding Habits, Rich Habits, all those kind of books, and I started doing that, and I kind of find out how money works. So that's what I ended up doing, and I found out if I was going to take a loan, and let's say if I take a loan out of 100 grand, and after that, if that loan has, like, let's say a couple interest rate, like let's say 3% interest rate, that means if I don't pay that loan off in 24 years, then now I'm going to have to pay $200,000, because that's the rule of, if you do the rule of 72. So like the interest rate, the money that I'm going to have to give to the bank is going to double now. It's going to go $200,000.
So you have
I
done.
can also use that.
Yeah, I'm saying you have done a lot of studies before choosing how to go about in life.
yeah, definitely. Like, you know, I like, because I wanted to figure out, like, that is degree, like, really going to be worth it, because all my siblings that came out of it right now, they're having a job. You know, they spent like a couple $1,000, like 50 grand to around even more than that. They spend that much, and after that, they're working a job that pays less than 100 grand. So if let's say now, you know, also I would tell, you know, people that actually want to get a job, now figure out how much is your job going to pay. And let's say if your job is paying this much amount of money, do the math. Like, okay, then if I pay off the loan this way, then how many years is it going to take you to pay off the loans? That's one thing that you should do. Then and how many? So that's one thing. And after that, let's say you decide you want to take a loan out, then get ready, because once you what I would tell them is, once you get out of college, don't expect you to just get a job like this, because it's going to take time too. And even after you get a job for 5 to 7 years, you start, you know, you're going to have to live with your parents. Like, if you're planning on moving out, if you plan on buying a house, like, which is what my plan was. Like, you know, of course, like, my parents, like, they're going to live with me, because it's like Indian culture, like, we live all together. So for me, I'm going to have to buy the house. So, and we're going to all have to live together. So if I get a loan, I'm not going to have to buy a house for my family. So that was, so, you know, if you, let's say if you have a house that you're living with your parents, and and so get ready to live there for 5 to 7 years to pay off all the loans, and then you can think about getting married, or getting you know, getting a girlfriend, or whatever. So, you know, every month just figure out that how much money is going out, how much money you will be bringing in with your degree, and how much money will be going out, and how soon will you be able to pay off the mortgage. But for me, it was really different, because I was able to find out, like, how to trade stocks and bonds. So I learned that. I'm still, you know, right now I'm getting my investment license, so I was able to learn that. So my goal, like, for 6 months, I really thought I was gonna pass my investment license and get all my investment license, but it just, you know, due to the virus, like, went down. Like, I had to just readjust my plans for. So, like, it's right over there on the blue board. Those are all my plans for this year that I want to accomplish, but due to the virus, it went down. So now I'm really what I want to do is I want to buy out, like, companies where the new companies that are coming out today. So instead of me putting money into my degree, I'll put money into some companies that are gonna appreciate its value. That's gonna make me money. So yeah.
So let's talk a little about the college, the environment inside the college campus, and how big it is, and what are the infrastructure. If you can talk a little about it.
Yeah. First, like, this thing is the best questions that you guys that people are gonna find very interesting is once you go to college, it's an experience. Like, that experience, I don't think you will ever get it again. So if you want to do that for the experience that you're gonna get, the friends that you're gonna make, I would just tell them, hey, and you were able to consider manage all the risks that I just was telling you about. If you're able to do that, go to college, because you will make friends that will stay together with you for your lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
Usually what a lot of people tell us, the friends that you make in colleges and the friends that you make in high school, they're the people that's gonna, even if you start like a business or something, business adventure, these are the
Mm-hmm.
people that are always gonna tell you, hey, let's go do it. And they're not gonna tell you anytime like, hey, nope, you're on your own for this. Like they're gonna go, if you
Okay.
spend some time with them and you build some great relationship with them, they'll tell you, hey, like it doesn't matter what it is, we're going in, we're going all in. We got it,
Mm-hmm.
we got it. So I think that's the best thing that could happen is just some people coming in together and they form a really good bond with each
Mm-hmm.
other.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the best things about college is that you will be able to do so. If that's what you're going for, then just go for it.
Okay. And so how is the general, environment aside the campus? Is it very
Yeah.
intense, studious? Like how, I mean, if you can tell.
Yeah, so with community colleges, like
Mm-hmm.
like people are just gonna go get classes and they'll go back to home or at work because the people that really go to community colleges, they really have time restrictions and they all work. They all have different responsibilities to take care of. That's why they go to community colleges. Well,
Okay.
let's say if you're going to Rutgers, where I'm there all the time because I have a lot of friends over there. So they'll have parties around. Like there are people,
Mm-hmm.
they'll have a lot of clubs. Like at night, they'll have a big line of when the school's starting of who to enroll into those clubs. And every couple weeks they'll have Halloween parties or let's say Christmas party or just a get together where
Mm-hmm.
you can go in and meet some new people, make some new friends. That's NJIT is one of all colleges too, where they'll host, students will host parties at the dorms that they live in, and sometimes what students have is they live into apartments close by. So if you're living into an apartment, then you don't have any restrictions on how many people are coming in and who can come in. So they'll have a full-on party where you can get on like they have some fees like $5 or $1 or $2, and they'll let you know.
Mm-hmm.
So those are some things that you'll be able to do. But the campuses, like they're huge. You will have to walk a lot. So if you want to grab like a bike or motorcycle or anything, then definitely go ahead and get it because you're gonna have to walk a lot. There are libraries are huge too. So
Okay.
and there are a lot of books that you can sit around. Libraries have
Mm-hmm.
a lot of different areas where you can sit in. If you want a space to just by yourself, you
Mm-hmm.
will definitely be able to. If you want a group of friends you're on a study, then you'll be able to do with that. Then cafeterias are used too. You can go to cafeterias. They sell a lot of different things at cafeterias too, so you'll be able to get a lot of different things to eat. If you're a good eater, then best place to come in is you even in cafeterias you will be able to find a lot of different things. There are stores around
Okay.
too. You will be able to find a lot of different things, and you'll probably meet a lot of people from a lot of different cultures. Let's say
Mm-hmm.
someone from Caucasian person, Latino. They'll bring in their food too, so you'll be able to eat that too.
Yeah, okay.
So with the experience, it's gonna be you're not gonna go you're not gonna lose at all with the experience that you're
Okay.
gonna get.
All right. And is your university famous for any program or sports activity?
No, don't know. For me, like I don't know if I was the right person to answer the question because
Okay.
I'm not that into sports, so I didn't
Okay.
really check out the yeah like
Uh-huh.
it's weird. I didn't really check out the sports, but one thing what I would say is high-end colleges will definitely have some really good athletic
Okay.
program
Mm-hmm.
because that's where if you're really good at playing sports, then you will be that will be a factor of the colleges taking you in because
Mm-hmm.
you will bring in revenue for the college because let's say if you play for if you play like college footballs and basketball, that's huge for colleges these days today. There's a lot of people come in to watch sports, and when a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people come in to watch sports, the brand goes up. Like Rutgers, let's say, they're
Okay.
having football games, and a lot of people are going to come in, and since they're all excited about sports, so that's going to bring in a lot of things for
Okay.
yeah, it's going to bring in that's like a little bit of business out there. It's a lot of branding.
Mhm.
So yeah, usually not community colleges, but I think high-end colleges will have some of those
Okay,
programs.
not your college in specific has
Yeah.
any program or sports
Yep.
activity. Now let's talk about facilities, and let's keep it to your university in specific, because we want aspirants to know how things are
Okay.
in your university. So tell us
Okay.
about the lab and library facilities in your university.
Yeah. So with my where I my university, labs and all the facilities, like they will give you a lot of facilities. The people, the teachers and every faculty owner that works there, workers that works there, they're there to help you out.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't need help, then there's no reason of them being there. So
Okay.
if you need help, go to them. With me, that every time I enter the library, they'll tell me, "Hey, do you need any help? Like, I'm here to help you out. Just let us know if you need any help with books." But the labs, uh, you know, their labs have a lot of a lot of different things where they'll have strict rules too. By the way, so you have to wear a certain type of footwear so that you don't spill
Okay.
anything on you. So safety factor. So yeah, with labs, like there are a lot of different things. Like you will be able to work with chemicals on hand. Like when you go to work, it's on hand training. So just like that, you'll be able to do on hand training too.
Okay.
And your colleges where they'll teach you. Mix this one up, then mix that one up, then take some notes. How you are
And
able to do this.
does your program require use of any lab as such, Dhruv?
No, for me
No.
it's since with me it's business administration and liberal arts business.
Okay.
So for myself, I don't really have to
Mm-hmm.
worry about the
Okay.
physics
Those.
and yeah.
Okay. Now let's talk about gym and recreational facilities that your university provide. Is there a gym and is there a recreational
Yeah.
center?
Yes, so there is one gym
Mm.
where I was fortunate enough to take one class where it was swimming class. So
Mm.
I was able to take that. I really like swimming, so I just took those classes. And I think one of the professors that used to taught me, he was a really good professor, where he just didn't taught me about just how to swim, because a lot of people want to know
Mm.
how to swim, and but he actually gave us about some vocabularies and how to manage risk and into real
Okay.
life, where he was not just teaching us swimming, he was also teaching us about regular
Mm.
thing of what's going to happen when you go out there, and what are the skills that you actually learn from swimming that you can actually
Mm.
implement in other different areas of your life too. So that was one
Okay.
thing really good happening.
And what recreational activities facilities do the university provide?
So they'll have like a tennis court.
Okay.
If you're into tennis, then they'll have a swimming pool. I think that's what they have. A gym too. So if you're a really heavy lifter
Okay.
and you like to go to the gym, so you can go to the gym. And it's not just like you go do your recreational activities. Like in India, I think people that coming from India, they'll go to the
Okay.
gym and they'll go home and they'll take a shower. Over here, when you go to the gym, you can use the gym and everything. And you can go to your locker room, take a shower, you can bring everything over there. And then if you just want to go from there to another
Mhm.
party, you will be able to do that. So that's one thing that I think
Okay.
what was different for me. So I was
Mm.
able to do that. So you can change clothes into your locker room too. You'll be able to do a
Okay.
lot of those things. So that's one thing I really like.
And how good are the healthcare and medical facilities inside university?
Oh, they are like every building has a first aid. So if
Okay.
something happens to you, then the teachers are I think trained for that CPR too. Or if something
Mm-hmm.
happens to you, they'll have CPR and it's fire drills. So
Mm-hmm.
they'll have fire drills every month. So they'll
Mm-hmm.
bring the students out and they bring students back in. So what happens? So your safety is their first priority too, because
Oh.
even when the buildings are getting built, they have
Mm-hmm.
to they have to go through a legal process of their safety. But like teachers, they are certified. Some teachers are certified, but doing CPR and
Mm-hmm.
they really know what to do. So didn't really have any health problems. But if some
Okay.
students do have any health problems, then if you're like if you are using like a wheelchair or something, they'll provide you with that. And
Okay.
also they'll provide you like assistant to where he's gonna or she's gonna, whoever they appoint, they're gonna take you to the classes, whichever classes you want to go to. I know some students also have like the dogs that you can take into the schools. I think I forgot what they're called, but they're called just dogs that are help emotional help.
Mm-hmm.
They're able to help. So if if you have those problems too, then you can have a dog around you at
Okay.
all the time who's going to sniff. If you're blind, then they'll
Mm-hmm.
have the dog takes you around everywhere you want to go. So that's one thing that
Mm-hmm.
you're able to do. So that they all had it in my colleges. They were also provided.
That is good. Yeah.
Yeah, they also uh, provide with computers and anything that you want, anything you
Okay.
want, like sofas and anything. So nothing to worry about that. Their safety is like your number one priority.
Okay. Now let's talk about the career center and career service facilities that the university provide to its student.
So like my college had a lot of different. They had a lot of different advisors that would really help you out. Like they had from A, like students that had the last name of A to starting from A to let's say D, then they'll have another advisor. Then S will have another advisor. One of the things what I found out at my colleges where I took a speech class, and
Mm-hmm.
I was really interested into speech. I was really interested in public speaking, so I got into I wanted to take speech class too, where I took speech class first, and then I wanted to do a speech class too. But what they told me is, uh, what they told me is, they told me that it will kind of be the same thing. Like the things that you did in speech class one will be the same thing that you will be taught in speech class two, which was really disappointing for me because I was really interested into speech and I didn't took those classes. So, and the advisors that are there, they're there to help you out. If you really want to just rush to getting a degree, then
Mm-hmm.
they're the best people to help you out.
Okay.
But if you're really
Mm.
looking, you go to them every day. Hey, they'll tell you exactly what needs to be done to just get your degree. Uh,
Okay.
they're not going to tell you anything more how you can get a job,
Mm-hmm.
how that will open different opportunities for you. Nothing like that happened for me, and they had no idea about what's happening out there.
Mm-hmm.
So if that is something that you want to find, then I would recommend you finding like a mentor that will actually guide you through all the different processes.
Okay. Now let's talk about the on-campus jobs for student, and also if you have done any on-campus jobs and how easy is to get on-campus jobs.
Yeah, so I haven't done any on-campus job, but it is
Mm-hmm.
easy to get a job on campus since I already had a job on the side, so I didn't really have to. But for
Mm-hmm.
when you get a job on campus, what they will actually do is, what you kind of have to do is you kind of have to. It's sometimes at the library, where if you have taken some classes on the people that are taking those classes right now, and they need
Mm-hmm.
help, then you will be helping those students out. Then they'll have you monitor who's coming in, who's going out, those kind of things. Right now they're really now they have like their ID cards and they can just scan it, so they're not doing anything but like receptionist. Those are the kind of jobs that you can get.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And what colleges will do is they'll pay. Sometimes they'll say, hey, we'll pay you this much. Sometimes they'll say, hey, if you want to take any summer classes, we'll pay for all your summer classes, and
Okay.
you'll be able to graduate faster. So that's what they'll be able to do. But
Mm-hmm.
it totally depends on you. I know sometimes if the international students come in, they will get their jobs faster because that's the only place that they can work. They can't work at
Mm-hmm.
any different places. So they'll be prioritized a little to work at some place, and
Mm-hmm.
they'll definitely get an opportunity.
Okay. Now let's talk about internship. I know you are an undergrad student, but did you do any internship, and how is there a special restriction that an international student has to, be eligible for, in order to be eligible for internship, has to complete so and so credit or so this many semesters? So if you can talk a little about it.
So yeah, so with internship, like since for me, I was on green card, so for
Mm-hmm.
me, though I didn't have to worry about it at all. I had my social security, green card, so I was able to work anywhere I wanted to. But what I recently came across is some of my friends that actually just contacted me up and said, hey, like I just graduated right now. I have
Mm-hmm.
to find, could you help me find a job or anything like that that you were in touch with? and if I find a job within like a couple of weeks that they're able to stay here, after
Okay.
that they can get a work visa since they're working over here, and they can stay here for long enough. So that's one thing, but that's one thing that they're able to do. But it's but I think it's different for all. Depends on what visa you're coming in. Like I know there are S visa or H1 visa, student visa. So, but one thing that I think I'm absolutely sure you can get a job on campus.
Okay.
So that's one thing that you will be able to do. I think one thing what will be really different from the people that are coming from here, from India to over here, it's gonna be they're gonna be stepping into like an adulthood, because that's what's going to happen is now they'll be able to have to take all the responsibility on themselves instead of just because they had all the they'll have their parents around them all themselves to help them out. Now you will be able to have to do everything by yourself. So that's going to be a different scenario. But other than that, I don't think finding a job is going to be easy or any complications are going to be. You're not going to have it yet.
Okay, and internship, did you do internship anywhere,
No.
Dhruv? No, okay.
No,
All right.
so
And yeah, go ahead. You were saying something.
No, I was saying like I didn't do any
Okay.
internships. So for me it was different. That's why I had to give the scenario to
Okay.
people that are coming in and I knew it.
All right. And would you like to recommend additional coursework for incoming student to improve their chances of getting internship and jobs in your program?
So it really, for me, I don't really don't really know of what they're doing in. So if they're interested into like let's say if they're doing bio and they're interested into something really different, and if they take those classes, I don't know how they can help them out in a particular field that they're doing in. But any area that you're interested into, I would say you should take those classes. Because I'm into business, so for me, like for my example was I took ethics class and I took communications class, I took a speech class. So those are the things that, since I was into sales, those are things that are going to help me out.
Yeah.
So
Mainly no matter which field you want to do, but anything which is related to that field, either a soft skill or technical skill would for surely help.
Yep, exactly. Like I think one of the things that I would really recommend them is people that are coming out of colleges. What they have is they have a really good tech. So the hierarchy of the business is they have a really good technical skills. So at technical skills now, they're able to, anybody can, you can go to companies say, hey, I'm able to do this code and whatever. But after that, let's say if you want to go higher into the business, at that time now you're responsible for the people that are actually responsible to do the job. So you have to transition to now you're responsible for the people that are responsible for to do the job. So that involves more of a leadership skills, business skills, and those kind of skills. So if you're planning to do that, which I was, that's why I took those classes. And I think everyone should take those classes because any business that you will go into, once you learn the technical skills, the next step is always going to be your communication skills, business skills, all of those type of skills. So I would recommend all those people to take all those classes, since that's going to be your next step. That's going to help you climb higher to your any company that you're going.
Okay. All right. Now let's talk about your stay. Are you staying off campus or on campus? And also, if you can help suggest, or if you can just suggest on advise on reliable ways of finding apartment for incoming students.
Yeah. So what I'm staying at home in a sense. So I go to college and I have a vehicle of transportation. I just bought a car last year. So I'm able to navigate. I stay at home. If you're looking to stay on campus, then on campus they already you just go to school and ask them, hey, I want a dorm, and they'll literally tell you here's what it is that you have to do and everything. They already have everything set it up. A lot of people, what they do find is living by yourself in another apartment. They find it much cheaper So
Mm-hmm.
that's what a lot of people do. So and the ways that you're able to find apartments is there are going to be, once you go to colleges, there are going to be apartments all around,
Okay.
that you can buy. So that's, or you can go to um, some places like Zillow, or a lot of there are some
Mm-hmm.
websites too that actually have.
Okay.
What I would recommend is get a group of people together and buy out one apartment,
Mm-hmm.
and like everyone's pitching in a little bit, so it's not expensive for just one student in. So if, let's say, if you have, let's say it's a 4 bedroom, 2 bedroom apartment, and you guys are like, if 4 people are there, that,
Mm-hmm.
if you're on a tight budget, then 4 people, like, you get 2 people can sleep on the sofa, and that's how you can adjust and have the cost a little bit less
Mm-hmm.
and
Okay.
have more space. Yeah.
And tell us about your favorite professor in the college and what is that you really like about him or her?
So the one of the professors that I actually really liked. By the way, if people watching this from India, I just want to tell people in India, the best professors that I've found are the 2 professors in India that I actually had to. There are no professors better than those professors that I was able to find over here. So go India, you're gonna find
Mm-hmm.
really good people over there. Uh, but one of the professors that I really actually find that helped me a lot was my swimming professors.
Mm-hmm.
That I took the class. I just took the class because I like swimming, and they wanted me to take a gym class, whatever they wanted me to take. So I took those classes, and he actually really helped me out. Hey, you're gonna grow up, like, swimming class. I know you were taking, but you're gonna grow up tomorrow, and you're gonna do this and all the
Mm-hmm.
things that you have to do. So this is you're gonna go through this stage, then you're gonna go that stage, and just like swimming, like, you're gonna have to take a step forward. Sometimes you're gonna have to take some risk, and I think he was the one that was really guiding me through a lot. So I think
Okay.
he was one of my best professors. But in India, I think that's where I had my best teachers. Where one of the professors, I was from India, Gujarat, Valsad. So
Mm-hmm.
Arif sir, he has a tuition on a train station in India, Valsad train station, and
Mm-hmm.
that's where his tuition is. But he was the best professor that I've ever had. And then there was another teacher. Uh, Her name was Sheikh teacher. So she was actually,
Mm-hmm.
those two are the best ones that I've ever had. But
Okay. Now let's talk about the student club. So, is there any student club that you have really enjoyed in the university? Uh, if yes, then please tell our aspirant what clubs are those.
so you will be able to find lot of different. Personally was not involved in a lot of different clubs.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, if since I was just taking classes just graduate, get some skills and graduate, and then I wanted to transition into what I was doing by myself.
Mm-hmm.
But I did, one day, I think, when I just finished up my class and I had to take a bus home, I was able to
Mm-hmm.
find at the college center there were a lot of different clubs that were
Okay.
advertising, hey, join this club, join this club, join this club. I
Mm-hmm.
actually was a part of a film club where like there were some students that just made up a club, and they were really
Mm-hmm.
into film club. And it was just 1 or 2 weeks that we were able to watch some movies and let them know, hey, so see the camera moving like this, so that gives you like an intense
Okay.
feeling to the audience.
uh,
So that was a little bit about we were getting into film.
mm-hmm.
But if you're interested, but I think I missed up on it. I missed on having the experience of getting into those clubs. But I would recommend
Mm-hmm.
other students, just even if you're just get into those clubs, you'll find students that are really into one sort of stuff, and you'll be able to create a bond with those students, and though
Okay.
they will be your lifelong friends. Yeah.
Okay. Now let's talk about the academic pressure and workload in your program on the scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest. How would you rate it?
So there's definitely pressure. Now for everyone, it's going to be different. I will rate it at somewhere as a right in between,
Okay.
like 5, or since. But the question that you were asking me, it's really going to depend uh, on the person that you're asking to, because some people
Mm-hmm.
really manage risk easily, while some
Mm-hmm.
people are not able to manage manage pressure easily, while some people
Okay.
are not able to manage pressure easily. Like
Mm-hmm.
to manage some pressure, I'm really good at. So I would say, hey, academic pressure, I can manage it.
Okay.
Let's say a certain different pressure that I'm into, I'm not able to perform. Like
Mm-hmm.
I will literally shut down. I will have to go to sleep, get back, and next day I come back on, and then I'll have to start working.
Okay.
So find out how you work under pressure, and
Mm-hmm.
then, but there's definitely going to be pressure. Like there are going to be, you'll have the advisors telling you some things like, hey, you have to do
Mm-hmm.
this. Like this is how you graduate. Then you will have, then the jobs that you want to apply to. They'll tell you, hey, I know you're gonna graduate with this, but we need someone with this amount of skills. Then your
Mm-hmm.
family will be telling you, hey, or like family will be telling you something where, hey, let's just graduate, or let's just whatever they want you to do.
Yeah.
Have that pressure. So
Mhm.
it doesn't matter where you then
Okay. And
have the pressure like, hey, want you to.
yeah, and let's talk about the number of hours a student in your program would spend in a day doing homework, attending lectures, and doing projects. So on an average, how many hours does a student in your program would spend in a day or a week?
So let's say if I'm taking 12 credits or 15 credits, which is a
Mm-hmm.
full-time credit. That's what I was taking. So if I'm taking 15 credits, then uh, then that's 15 hours a day that I'll be going to classes. 15 hours a week that I'll be
Okay.
going to classes. Rest all the hours are free. Now, if you're going to 15 hours of classes, what what we recommend is you read at least spend let's say if you're going 15 hours a week, you at least spend
Mm-hmm.
7.5 hours, which is
Mm-hmm.
half of what you actually going to classes. You spend that many hours of doing your homework, studying, work, and everything. So
Okay.
that's one thing that you would recommend. But it's gonna like depend on the person. That's if
Mm.
you're really good at math. Like with me, like math wasn't a problem, so I really didn't spend too much time on that math. Like I would just come home, not do nothing. Sometimes do
Mm.
homework. So that
Okay.
I really got along to.
All right. And tell us about the course structure in your program. Is there anything you really like about it or dislike about it?
For business administration,
Yeah.
yeah. So I there are a lot of dislikes that I had with the community colleges,
Mm-hmm.
especially. I think a lot of people liked it, but especially just me. What I found was they just wanted me to take some classes that really was not helping me out. Like I was going into business, and they wanted me to take physics class, and
Okay.
since I was really not into physics too, I was like, that doesn't really correlate of me taking a physics class, doing a lab on physics.
Mm-hmm.
And with business, I need all the sales skills and all the leadership skills. So
Mm-hmm.
and they were providing those classes. My school was providing like an entrepreneurship class and a leadership class, which I really wanted to take, but that was not going to count for my major. So I think that was one things that I really disliked is if you want to get a degree, then you're just able to take these classes. Not anymore. Like if you do anything else, it's not really not going to count for you. They're really not going to reward you with anything at all. So
Okay. All right. Now let's talk about the tuition fee. What is the tuition fee for the entire program of yours? And other than tuition fee, what all expenses that a student should be prepared about financially?
yeah, so with financial situations, for me it was a couple grand. Like they say, if you're in community college for 2 years, it will cost around $6,000.
Mm-hmm.
But it's gonna they'll tell you it's that much, but it's gonna cost you more.
Okay.
Especially because the books that you're gonna have to get, and sometimes like you'll just get the books, and I know I had the books. Like I got a physics book, and since I had to take physics class, and after that the professor was like, "Oh, we're not gonna use the books." So that was like I said, I spent $300 just to get one
Mm-hmm.
book, and you say you're not gonna use it. So
Yeah.
it will cost around six to couple like let's say like around 10 grand if you're going for 2 years for a community college.
Okay. Okay.
So you just put aside, and if you want to really get the best out of your buck, then talk to some people that have actually taken those classes, and get books from those people.
Okay.
So
All right.
that's what I did. So that's what I did. Like I talked with those students. I'm like, hey, I know you took those classes. I just need
Mm-hmm.
your books, or I'll pay you like a little bit, whatever. Like, and
Mm-hmm.
he already took those classes. He's for him the book is just gonna stay in his garage. Well, he's
Okay.
more than happy to lend me the books, and I'll able to pay him something like right here.
Uh,
So
okay.
that's one thing that I would recommend people doing.
And so tell us about the if the universe, did you apply for any financial aid?
Yes.
And okay, and were you able to get it? What was the process?
So I did apply for FAFSA.
Mm-hmm.
That is for I applied for FAFSA and I was able to get in the first year I was able to get around $5 grand, and that just
Okay.
paid for my so that was able to pay for my college, and I didn't have to take any major books
Mm-hmm.
because I was taking classes that really didn't involve me buying some books. So what happened after I finished the semester is uh, that the money that I did not use into my college, they actually gave me back that you know the FAFSA. They mailed me a check of like a couple $100, and so that's what happened. And what I ended up doing with them is like you can do whatever you want with it. I ended up
Okay.
investing, so that was something that happened. So
And
yeah.
what about need-based scholarship? Does university provide any kind of need-based scholarship to the student other than merit-based?
Need based. I think FAFSA was most of like need based. FAFSA
Okay.
and HESA, that was
Okay.
more for need based, and if with merit based, I think those are the scholarship where some companies are going to sponsor. But what you can also find is if you were looking for a scholarship, what you can find is let's say if you work for some company,
Mm-hmm.
they'll tell you, hey, well, we're going to fund your education completely,
Mm-hmm.
and so that's what again the type of scholarship that you're able to find is they'll fund everything that your whole school that you're going to, and you just help them
Mm-hmm.
out. Hey, do whatever they want you to do, and so that's another way.
Okay. All right. Now, I want you to tell our viewers about your future plans once you graduate, and how does the career center or the career counselor at university can help you achieve that?
For me, like I'm really excited about just going out there into the world and graduation. My plans after graduation was, uh, I just for it's going to be different for everybody. Personally, for me, I really wanted to be successful. I wanted to make I wanted to make a lot of money, go to Wall Street. So that's what
Mm-hmm.
my main focus is on. Where
Mm-hmm.
I take investment classes where I'm
Mm-hmm.
able to get my investment licenses. So if I
Okay.
get all my investment licenses without even a degree, I'm able to go to Wall Street and go work over
Mm.
there. So with me, but my parents want me to get a degree, so I just want to get a degree at the same time. That's what I'm
Okay.
working on.
All
So
right.
that's yeah.
And how is there a way by which your career counselors or a career center will help you achieve this, or is this something which you're
Uh,
gonna do all by yourself?
this was all by me, and
Okay.
like I had uh, the things that I wanted to do. My career center was not able to
Okay.
help me out.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're just looking for a job and just the career center will be able to help you out.
Okay.
Yeah.
And would you like to name some companies that hire students from your program, from your university?
Some companies that would be able to hire.
Yeah.
Um, no, I'm not particularly sure about what companies might hire.
Mm-hmm.
What I would recommend is there's a career fair that comes
Okay.
again,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes and you go to the career fair and you tell them, hey, I want to, and you just apply over there, and
Mm-hmm.
then all the companies are going to give you a call depending upon what your merit is.
Okay.
What I would recommend is so one thing that you really want to do if you want to get a job is you apply for it and then keep calling them. Hey, what's the status? What's the status?
Okay.
What's the status?
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes they'll just gonna keep forgetting. I know I recruit, so I personally recruit too. So I kind of sometimes forget, like, hey, we called up this number, but we found another candidate that's better for us, but we're still looking. So now I just keep forget sometimes. So if you give me a call again saying, hey, what happened to my status? What happened to my
Mm-hmm.
status? So then you're I kind of know that you're kind of looking for it for
Okay.
a job. So, I'll be able to call you up and, hey, let's go, let's meet up this time.
All
And
right. And now let's talk about one mistake that you would have made as a student, which you want incoming student to avoid, and also a piece of advice that you would like to give it to the future students.
yeah. One of the major mistake that I made, I think I wrote it down in my notes. And I every time I make some mistakes, I write it down. Like, I do something that I would. So next person coming in, I want to mentor some more people too. So one of the mistakes that I really made that hurt me a lot too is I started investing at when I was in high school, like, 11th grade, 12th grade. I started investing, and I was on track at 20 years old to have a net worth of $20,000. But what? So because I really wanted to be successful, so I was on track for that. But then my parents, like, they told me, hey, you have to get a degree, and I was still, I was getting a degree, but they told me to have to get a degree fast. Like, let's just get it done. Like, what are you doing? So I did something under pressure of what somebody else wanted me to do.
Okay.
I would recommend you don't ever do that. You will regret it, because I know I regret that one of the most. So that's one thing that I would tell you is don't do anything just because somebody else wants you to do something and just under pressure. Like, do make some decision, and try to manage the pressure that you're having in, and just do that. So now my goal is to at the same time, I'm also fulfilling my parents' goals of me getting a degree. I'm also fulfilling my goals too, where now I wanted 1,000 shares where in the next 10 years of one company. I want to be a millionaire.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So that was really interesting. So I want to tell our viewers that Dhruv is in fact expert on our platform. They can connect to him, ask him question, hire him, and he'll be more than happy to help you out in the way you want. Thank you so much, Dhruv, for your
You're
time,
welcome.
and I really appreciate it. And just stay safe, and all the best for your
You too.
future.
Thank
All
you so
right.
much.
Bye bye.
Okay. Yeah, bye-bye.